Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, Bruce? How are you?
Good. Do you have my audio clear? Because I have a hang on. Do you have my audio clean?
I can hear you perfect, and there you are. Now I can see you perfect.
Maybe I don't need this light. Let's see. No, I think I need it. It's just a little hot in the head. I don't have the. Let me
Let's
see.
see. I think it looks good either way, whichever way is better for you. How you been? How
I got
uh,
some
how are
power.
you?
I'm good. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. If you can believe it, it's snowing up here actually
I
on
believe it.
April
It's
8th.
freezing. No, I
So,
remember I've had it snowing there May 8th.
yeah, which is just so crazy.
Hang on one second. I'm gonna put a little powder on my forehead for you. Hang on. What year are you senior?
Uh, Now heading into senior year at the end of the semester, just
Oh,
finishing up junior year now. Yep.
did I first meet you at that event at what?
Ex- your memory is great. That's exactly where it was. Up in the somewhere near Times
Area,
Square.
right? Or something, yeah.
Yeah, with Charles Fazino, a piece of artwork he was doing. I remember he was there, you were there, Aaron Boone was there.
This was like
Um,
your mom did the shit talk, you know what I mean?
Correct. Yep, exactly.
She was terrific and she was smart and
Yeah, she's a smart one. She definitely is a smart one.
I was lucky that I got you.
Absolutely. And I was lucky that I've had the chance to work for you. I can't brag about my time enough with you up here at school when I speak to people. So
Great,
it's
great.
really it's been special.
What's your summer? Are you with us or not this summer?
Not this summer
Okay.
because unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it,
No, it's
I'm heading to Israel to announce the Maccabi games.
the Maccabi games, the regular Maccabi games?
Yes, the Maccabi games. Yep, for the
Amazing.
USA delegation.
That's great for you.
So that's going to be 3 straight weeks of some good all in all sports. So
Okay.
it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
This is sharp enough for you, right?
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
perfect. That's more than perfect.
Okay.
So this interview, it's really not even about your background in the field. It's more about looking for advice
Okay.
for my classmates and my peers and kind of along that level. So I just wanted to kind of get that out of the way.
Okay.
Um, so are you ready to go? You ready to do
Yes,
this?
sir.
Let's do it. All right, Bruce. So starting off, I feel like a good question to lead us into it is when you were first a young broadcaster in yourself, what was one of the smartest young steps and first steps that you took to really cement yourself into the career that you have today?
I think the key to everything is to put your maximum effort forth. You want to make a statement, whatever it is. If you're bringing a cup of coffee to an announcer, do it well. If you're working in the tape room, do it well. If you're doing graphics or some background statistics, do it well. Do everything to the best of your ability, and you will be noticed. And you will get opportunities that will come from you excelling at whatever your responsibility is. And that's true not just in broadcasting, but for any job. And I've always taken that seriously. And people will notice when you put the effort in, Jack, and when you put your maximum effort forward, I think you are rewarded. So that's where I would start. Whatever opportunity you get, do it well. Don't look down on it. Always look for other opportunities and ask about things. But whatever you're assigned, hey, make that like, as John Wooden would say, make each day your masterpiece. I'll take it a step further. Make every assignment your masterpiece.
Absolutely. And when you talk about this kind of leads right into it about doing and having your max effort in any assignment that you're giving. Uh, how does the theme of versatility work into that? Where you walk into a possible employer and you can say, I really do have the skills and the work ethic to get anything done, regardless of where you need to put me.
It's a great question and it's a great point, Jack. Versatility has been one of the keys to my career. I can host, I can do play by play, I can do interviews, I can do color commentary. I understand that role. So anything that you can do, and be a good writer as well. Anything you could do makes yourself more valuable to whoever is hiring you. So don't necessarily become just an expert in one area. Oftentimes today, you'll hear the great athletes, the A-Rods, Francisco Lindor. I remember Ken Griffey Jr. talking about this, Jeter. You want to be good at a lot of sports as a young kid. You don't want to just give your kid
Absolutely.
the ability to specialize in soccer. Same thing in broadcasting. One of the things about Ian Eagle is he can do anything or everything. And maybe you end up specializing as you go, but I truly believe versatility is a great asset because they can put you anywhere. And that's a great message. Jane Bryan Quinn at the Ithaca College commencement in 1982, my brother and future brother-in-law were both graduating. She was a famous economist and she said, "Follow your opportunities." What a great, great
Yep,
line. Follow your
that is.
opportunities. So you might want to be a plumber, you end up being an electrician. You might want to be a play-by-play guy, you end up being a host. You might want to be a doctor, you end up being a dentist. Don't be afraid of the opportunity that presents itself.
Absolutely. And Ian did a great job on that game last night.
You
All
sure did.
he's just great in everything that he does. Obviously, anyone that has tuned in and is familiar with your work knows how good you are on camera. Um, what do you think is the best advice for being confident, clear, and honestly, most of all, composed, during live moments on camera?
Own it. Go up there like you belong. Trust your instincts. Don't go too fast because if you go fast, Jack, and I start an interview with you, I got to keep going fast the whole question. It's really hard to slow down. If you're doing play by play, you can't go, what a basket, and the next lead, 2-0. Like, where are you going to go from there? So you have to pace your,
Yep.
I think, trust your instincts, be connected with the camera. Marty Glickman, when he was my coach when I was very young, one of your great Syracuse grads, he was my coach at MSG Network, and he didn't like the way I was connecting to the camera. He thought I could do a better job. He goes, "Tonight, before your broadcast, go up to that camera, say, 'Hello, camera. I like your fabric. I'll be talking to you. We'll be friends.'" What he was trying to do was make it so that my eye contact was good and I connected with the viewers. And just remember, somebody out there wants to hear from you. So don't be afraid to be your own self. Like I said, trust your instincts, but establish your own style, Jack. Don't try to be anybody you're not. Of course, I was Marv for much of my adult life, and I had to make a little bit of a transition, but you still have to find your own style, your own way, your own voice.
Absolutely. And I know that you preach, obviously, in camp, finding your own style and your own voice. What are some of the other common mistakes that you might see young broadcasters make? And what would you give them as advice to maybe not make those same mistakes down the line?
So don't try to do everything at once. You've got time, especially in a show format, to give a, a little bit of information now, a little bit of information later. Don't jam everything in. Don't try to be the big story yourself. Oftentimes, if I'm a play-by-play guy, it's the color guy who could be the hero. And I like to think he's the star, so I just set him up well. Bury your ego at the door. Do preparation. Be attentive to detail. Those are things that you can do. But on the air, try to have warmth about you. Know the content. If I'm talking about Kobe and his passing, you'll hear the tone of my voice, the empathy, the understanding. And if I'm talking about Aaron Judge hitting a 500-foot home run, it's a
Yep.
500-foot home run. It's not just Aaron Judge hits a 500-foot home run. You've got to know when to use your inflection. You got to know when to go faster, when to go slower, when to go louder, when to go a little quieter, how to use the pause. These things will come with experience. But most importantly, I think, Jack, just don't try to bang somebody over the head with stuff. Be confident, get used to it, get reps, which is one of the most important things. And I think a lot of
Absolutely.
this will evolve. So just don't try to be a hero right off the bat.
Yeah. And this next one kind of goes to the greatest of the greats and the youngest of the youngins. But what do you think truly it can be a skill, it can be a mindset, separates a good broadcaster from a great one?
Knowing the moment, knowing how whatever is happening to be able to convey it concisely and with emotion. Passion's important, so is emotion. I think that a young broadcaster might use too many words. I think economy of words. I can ask a 7 second question or 3 second question that might be more impactful than somebody who just runs on for 20 seconds. Don't ask a question, make a statement, and then ask a question. Always make the statement. The Knicks are playing great tonight. Do you think, Jalen, the difference is the fact that you guys are being unselfish? Or you go the other way? You know, Jalen, how are you guys doing tonight in terms of your offense, and why are you guys going so well? I mean, when I look at it, you and Josh are passing great,
Yeah.
and Mikhail is also cutting to the like. Don't give him the answer.
Yep.
Also, be careful. Chris Everett taught me this. Don't try to know their stats better than they do because they always know it better. I once asked Chris a question. She had won the semifinal match of the Virginia Slims Championships at Madison Square Garden, and she was playing Arancha Sanchez Vicario the next day in the final. And I looked up the stats. I had it all down. I said, Chris, you're 14-0 lifetime against Arancha. How do you continue that domination tomorrow? Well, first of all, Bruce, I'm 15-0. Your stats probably don't include the exhibition I did in Puerto Rico last year. Like, no, that doesn't
Yeah.
count. But they always know it better than you. So don't try to upstage them. Better to say, Chris, you've
Absolutely.
dominated Arancha. You continue to, you've never lost to Arancha, but don't give her the exact number. Sometimes that'll mess you up.
Yeah. I know any interviewing procedure and process kind of differs throughout, but you had a really unique opportunity this weekend, to cover Alex Ovechkin breaking the goal record and then, casually running into Wayne Gretzky in the tunnels of UBS Arena. What was your thought process walking into that interview, with the greatest hockey player of all time?
So my thought process was, first of all, to get him. I talked to one of my buddies who's one of the big heads of the NHL, and he told me that Wayne wasn't doing interviews today, one-on-ones, because he had done a multitude of interviews for the tying part of the record,
Yeah,
which was like,
down in Washington.
yeah, so
Yep.
he had done the big interviews, and I think he wanted it to be Ovechkin's moment. But I wasn't going to be denied. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I just fell upon it. It was calculated. I waited. I had strategy. When he went from the Islanders dressing room to the Caps dressing room, the media was still in the hallway when he spoke to Ovechkin and the team. And as soon as they let all the press in, they were all in the hallway. I was down the hall about 20 feet, maybe 20 yards. I knew Gretzky had to go out that way.
Yeah.
So I knew I would get one shot. They all pile in after he's done talking to them. He was probably lingering. I see his family come out. Then eventually he comes out. Now it's getting late and closer to air. And I wait for him in the hallway. And he comes walking by. And I said, Wayne, do you have time for a few quick questions? And he goes, No, I'm not doing any interviews today. Of course I'll do it. Like he really got me. He does stuff like that. And
Yeah. Do you have a relationship with Wayne?
not a great relationship. I've interviewed him over the years. I interviewed him at MSG when I was with MSG Network when he wasn't a Ranger. And then I interviewed him when he was a Ranger when I was working for NBC. So I think he knows me, he knows my face, and he was smart enough to just not blow me off, I think. And I wasn't like alarmed. I didn't go after him like putting pressure. I said, Wayne, do you have 40? I think I said, do you have 40 seconds to share some thoughts with me? And he goes, No, I don't have time for any interviews today. And of course, and I knew at that point I had disarmed him. And
Yeah.
interesting, Jack, because uh, I want to say that I had scribbled at that point. This is a good lesson. even for
Yep.
somebody who's done 1,000 interviews. I quickly wrote down three questions if I did get Wayne that I would ask him. It's on a manila folder, it's written
It's
in
great.
red, it's got some cross outs. It was a magical moment for the NHL. What was it like for you to pass the torch? Because we knew it
Yeah.
wasn't as enjoyable for him because the record was gone.
Absolutely.
But he goes, well, I wouldn't say I passed the torch. I wanted to get that goal as much as he did. I was really rooting for him. So it was good. I don't mind being like busted or my question
Yeah.
wasn't perfect. Maybe the better question was it was a magical moment for the NHL. What was it like for you?
Yeah.
I had that first crossed out,
But
but
yeah.
know that it couldn't have been great. So I said, I wanted to be a little more positive. What was it like for you to pass the torch? Ovechkin has so much respect for you and the game. Are you glad he's the guy who broke the record? I thought that was a really good.
Yeah. That's a great one.
And
Yeah.
then my last one is, do you think this record will ever be broken? But
And
during
what was his response?
the second answer, he answered that towards the end. He goes, my father, Walter, told me that at some point my record will be broken too, and that records are meant to be broken. So he answered it, and then I really didn't have a third, and we went a
Yeah.
minute and 47 seconds or whatever it was, a minute and 55, and I just said thank you.
Yeah.
The only thing I
And
ask him for a picture because I thought if I was the only one to do an interview, I'm a professional, right? What am I going to say? Hey, Wayne, let's pose.
yeah, let's
I later asked my buddy from the NHL, and he said, you know how many pictures he had took that day? If I had $1 for every
oh.
picture he took, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, I could have said, hey,
And
Wayne,
you still got the great you got the good angle of it for the Instagram page
yeah,
up
I
yeah,
took it
yeah.
off a screen grab, but I mean.
Listen, it worked and it showed the
You
moment.
can see a lot of my boys over the years, Phelps and Jeter and
Yeah,
Nate, guys, but I don't go out looking for a photo. But Wayne Gretzky's iconic. I've covered him for
absolutely.
so many years. It's just funny that even at my age, I was thinking of asking him for a question.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I told my wife, and she said, "Come on, you did great. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
But that
I
so
yeah.
relationships do play into everything.
That's exactly what I was just going to ask you. How the Wayne Gretzky situation is probably the most common thing that you experience, you know, in this industry in terms of even if he knows your face, that's enough for him to be able to take that second and take those 45-second interviews.
Right. So I've interviewed him a bunch. So I think there's a familiarity. I think he's been in New York enough where he's seen me on TV. I've covered him in a bunch of things. He doesn't know me like Messier knows me, or
Yeah.
Jeter, or A-Rod, or Eli, or Pete Alonso, or
Yeah.
Judge, or Cole, or Daniel Jones when he was here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
those guys, Curtis Martin, most of our iconic athletes I have a relationship with.
Yeah.
There's no way Eli's going to blow me off. I know that. But
Absolutely.
sometimes the guys are running and sometimes it's more difficult. But if you've got the relationship, those guys I talked about are never going to blow me off. And I know that because I've covered their charity events. I've been in the trenches with them. I've been there
Yeah.
for wins. I've been there for losses. Jeter once said to me, Bruce, no one can ever fault you if you're tough but fair. And I've always
Yep.
tried to be that. I'm not afraid to ask a difficult question, but I'll do it in a way. Jeter also said this to me, that it's not personal.
Yeah.
So in my phone, millions of numbers, players,
Yep.
coaches, general managers, owners, and those relationships are built over time. And
Yeah.
that's the key to everything. I always say there's the three mantras to success: preparation, attention to detail, and relationships. And relationships is more important than the other two combined. How do you work with somebody? How do you build trust? How do you earn respect? And I think that's one of the keys to my success. Being out in the field allows you to do that. You can't do that sitting in the studio. And I thrive on going out there and covering the story. I didn't have to be at Ovechkin, thought it would be a great story. And then when I
Yeah.
got there, I thought, how can I get Gretzky today too? And
Yeah.
I was able to do it. Do I think my bosses saw it and made note of it? I don't know. But to me, if I didn't get it, I would have been burning up inside.
Yeah.
Even doing the business for 47 years, I still get that adrenaline rush because I still am passionate
Absolutely.
and I still love what I'm doing, even though I've been doing it for a long time and it's sometimes exhausting.
You can say that. And I think just one to kind of fully wrap it up, you've given all of us and my classmates some great advice this session. Was the one piece that you would give for someone to take away from this interview from you? What's the one piece of advice you can give to a journalist to really put themselves into the field and have a long and hopefully a successful career as you have had the success of?
So for a young journalist, you want to be aggressive but not annoying. You want to do anything you can to move ahead. Don't be afraid of doing the little things. Build that foundation like building a house. Start small. Get reps. It's more important to get reps. If you get an offer, if you want to be a play-by-play guy in a small market for a small league, and you know that you're going to get a lot of reps, I would take that over being an associate producer at a network and you're behind the scenes. Although a
Yep.
lot of times people behind the scenes can morph into the play-by-play
And
host.
yep,
It happens.
absolutely.
That happens a lot. Um, be respectful, treat everyone the same. I treat the president and the janitor the same. And usually the janitor can do more for you. That's not why you do it. You do it because it's right. People will hire you if you're easy to work with sometimes. If it's between two people, well, that guy is Mr. Nuclear. That guy is amazing to work with. He's not as good. You know what? I've seen guys get
Let's
jobs
take him.
that way. I've
Yep,
seen people get
absolutely.
jobs that way. Um, your team is important. It's so important to work together, to build camaraderie, to build chemistry, to be selfless. And then again, go back to those basics. Trust your instincts. Be attentive to detail. Do extreme preparation. Outwork people. I'm up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
not. I'm outworking you. If I go down, I'm going down not because I didn't do my work, right? I'm
Yep.
going down because I made a mistake, execution, but not
Yep.
preparation. Uh, and put a smile on your face. Try to enjoy the industry. It's a great challenge. It's a fascinating field. There are going to be some ups and downs. Don't let the downs knock you down. If
Yep.
you're 3 for 10 in Major League Baseball, where are you going, Jack?
You're the Hall of Fame.
Batting 300. You're going to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That means 7 times you failed.
Yep.
It's going to happen. How do you bounce back from making a mistake? How do you bounce back and learn? So don't be afraid of failure, although I don't call it failure. I call it you haven't achieved yet
Yep.
rather than that you failed. So
Yet. Exactly.
those would be my things. Just you've got to find these opportunities, guys. And men and women out there, great opportunity for women as much as men.
Absolutely.
And in terms of diversity, everyone's got a chance as well. So it's out
Yep.
there. Who are you going to outwork to get the gig? Keep applying. It's better to be 1 for 14 than 0 for 6.
Yep.
Send out those letters,
Absolutely.
send out those tapes. Do anything at the beginning, even though it's production. Like I was saying, it's better to do play by play. But if you're going to offer in production or you're going to offer in branding or
Yeah.
marketing, just get in the industry, do every task to the best of your ability, and you
Yep.
will find the way to work your way up to your dream job.
Bruce Beck, NBC4 Sports New York. Thanks so much, Bruce.
Thanks, Jack. Always fantastic to talk to you and to talk about the industry, which I think is
Yep.
challenging, fascinating, and it drives me still to this day.
Yeah. Passionate. You can see the passion still, Bruce. You can say that for sure.
Good. I
I
haven't
really
lost that.
appreciate the time today too. I know you're a busy man. I know you got a lot going on, but I appreciate the time.
My pleasure, Jack. Thanks. I'll
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk soon, all right?